Well, good morning. I hope everybody had a great weekend and you're having a great start to your day. If you're in the middle of your day or leading towards the evening, I hope everything went well for you and you've laid the foundation to look forward to an opportunity where this week can be a challenge of really rising to the occasion of continuing to improve to get better, not to get bitter. That being said, I wanted to share with my audience members out there that a few months ago I was asked to do a presentation on challenges, but the unique approach to this workshop that I conducted was based on the fact that the audience members and the people that I serve wanted to know about my challenges. And you know, when you're asked to do something about you to help others, you have to be really aware of the fact that it's not about praising yourself or highlighting your accomplishments to help people. It's really about developing a partnership and a way of connecting the people where they can feel and see you just as much as they can feel and see themselves. And this morning I want to share a little bit about challenges in a unique way, to really use it as a tool to inspire and encourage individuals to know that no matter what you're going through, you can be able to go through it and accomplish it. It just depends on your mindset and your attitude and your approach and your ability to put the effort to go beyond what your current reality is or what the challenge you're being faced with. And some of the challenges that I may have faced in my short lifetime, there's been numerous. I came up with about 32 of them just for the workshop. But today I'm just going to touch on a few of them just to give you a sense of kind of what it was like for me, in hopes that this will help others out there. And the way how I broke it down was that I started to look at the basics. So let's take the first element. The first element, when you look at me and you really see me for who I am, is my skin color being black. And some of the challenges that I faced came from not just quote unquote white people. It also came from black people as well. I've been called a nigger by white people when I was playing hockey. You don't really see too many black people play hockey, but you see most of them now playing. But, I've gone through some challenges with that. And what I learned to do with that word is that I learned how to turn it around in a way of rising to the occasion to be bigger than what the word actually means. And it doesn't necessarily harm me. It actually fuels me. And for others, it might harm them and get them angry. But I've chosen not to do that anymore. Over the years, I've learned how to really empower myself with that word. But I don't hear it as much as I used to, but I had to rise to the occasion when I hear those words. And it was a challenge for me because I could have been what they asked me to be, or I can be what I want to be. And I learned at a very young age how to go through that process. I've heard from black people that you're not black enough. What does that mean? Interesting. And yet we are going through the same hurdles, the same challenges. The only difference is how we choose to face them. You can face by responding, by taking the time to really understand what's really going on, or you can react and feel that you have to defend yourself because your pride and ego has been hurt. And when you look at ego, I've heard it said before that ego just basically stands for edging God out. And if you use ego as at the forefront of defining yourself, you will die internally. I've heard things that you are not smart enough. You should just become a general laborer or someone who works shift work in a factory or what have you. And once again, that was an opportunity to respond by looking at what are my options? What can I do to get to my dream of completing university? Because let's face it, folks, life is not a straight path. It might perceive that it is, but it's not. And what happens is when people's conditioning is a reflection of a straight path way of thinking, where they haven't experienced failure or disappointments and had the ability to have resiliency to overcome a challenge, what we see is that people take that straight line mentality and don't realize that life is jagged, has twists, curves, bumps in the road, and you have to be able to be strong enough internally to withstand them. And what I've learned to do over the years was that I always looked at what's the other way. Why can't I have it? Why is it that they can have it and I can't? Why is it that they can go to university and I can't? And I always ask myself that question, why? And we all have to ask that question, why? And some of those examples that I've brought to your attention, I mean, I elaborated them a little bit more in the workshop, but in this short segment with you, is to give you a tool and a taste of understanding that it's not about really being different. It's about thinking different in a way of knowing who you are from the inside out, not being defined by the outside in, and being able to set a foundation up for you to realize that you are not, well, for myself, I'm not going to be led by pride and ego as much. I'm going to learn how to slowly let that stuff go over time, because when I learn to let go of pride and ego is like a cancer. If it's not something that you can let go of over time, it becomes this cancer in you, and it really breaks you down from the inside out to the point that you become more bitter, more agitated. Your attitude is very poor. You might be very assertive in a way that is makes people feel uncomfortable. And different characteristics that come out of you are a reflection of that cancer. And I had to learn how to let go of that over time, in my younger years especially, because I wanted to fight back physically, but I realized that life is 80 to 90% mental. The other maybe 20 to 10%, however the case may be, is going to be physical, but the physical is based on your skill set and talents. What you really need to have is that mental edge. And over time, I've learned how to create that mental edge for me. And the secret to ultimately living in this world today is really being mentally tough enough and developing the tools and skills needed to add to that mental toughness so that you can be resilient enough to move forward. That ultimately is what it takes to deal with challenges. And I'm continuing to do that every day. It doesn't change. There's going to be a challenge today. There's going to be a disappointment this week. There's going to be a hurtful thing this week. And I have to know that it's a part of the process that I'm going through that I accept, but I have to give myself permission to know that I can be resilient and overcome it if I think it through. Remember, think. That's where it starts, up here. Think it through. Every single one of you out there has the capabilities to think beyond your current reality, to always be better. We can always be better. We can always improve. We can always achieve our goals and our dreams, regardless of age, time, money, whatever. We can still do it. If we put up barriers, it's because we choose to do that because we're scared. Take the time to know that being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of growth. And you have just as much right and opportunity as I do. It's what you choose to do with it. Do you respond or do you react? And that, ladies and gentlemen, comes down to your character and integrity or your pride and ego. Which one do you choose? Have a great day.